What is the fastest way to achieve your goals? To answer that question, we need to use our imaginations a little bit. Since we're likely doing something we've never done before, our brain will kick and scream about it because it's trying to protect us from the unknown. It's a survival instinct. And the fastest way to circumvent this survival instinct is through awareness. It's about practicing taking action through self-doubt while feeling discouraged and a whole lot of other emotions along the way, especially if you have a really big goal. I'm Chelsea. I am a flutist and a mindset coach for musicians. I am a classical musician, and this is the second video in a series on setting goals. If you haven't caught the first one, you can find it up here. And if you want a free workbook to go along with this series, I have it linked down below in the description. Now, what is the quickest way to get results? First, we need to break down how we get results. Results are the culmination of our actions. But it's not quite as simple as that. Have you ever noticed that someone else will take the same or even maybe less action than you have toward a goal and get there much faster and be wildly more successful? It's kind of one of the most unfair things to experience. Let's talk about why that is. If actions themselves created results, we would all be world-class musicians, or whatever your field of study or whatever your career is. I say musicians because it's the majority of people I work with. But you can apply this to whatever you do. I always say that if playing, now this is a flute example, Tafanel and Gobert, which is our warm-up exercises, our scale studies, if we just all played that and that was the thing that made us good, then we'd all be James Galway. We'd all be the most famous flutist in the world. But we aren't. And why is that? If you just adopt someone's routine, why doesn't it work out the same for you? If you think that I'm going to say mindset, you would be right. But what is our mindset and how do we change it to match someone who is successful? And not only that, match us being successful. Our mindset is the thoughts and the feelings that drive our actions. That's the difference between actions that get you results and actions that don't. So, how do we build a mindset that aligns with our goals? We have to see what's going on upstairs first. When you set a goal, your brain is going to have a lot of thoughts about it, a lot of concerns, a lot of doubts. Write them all down. They could be about you. They could be about the circumstances. They could be about all the obstacles you're going to face. They could be about whether it's possible to achieve that goal or not. Write everything down. I like to do this with an exercise that I call the box of neutrality. You're going to draw a box, and within this box, you can only put facts, not interpretations. So put your goal in there, because after all, your goal is neutral. The goal isn't difficult, it isn't easy, it isn't possible or impossible until you have some thoughts about it. You put all of those thoughts around the box of neutrality. All these doubts, comments, concerns, questions, put them all down on paper. Then we're going to organize it all. We're going to see how well your thoughts are aligning with the results that you want. We're going to use something called a thought model. This was taught to me by my coaching instructor, Brooke Castillo. I use it all the time with myself and my clients. We have circumstances, which are neutral facts. Those are the things that you would put in the box of neutrality. Then we have a thought about those circumstances. For the sake of this exercise, we want to just put one thought per thought model, and then do a separate thought model for each individual thought. Now, this thought, if you try it on, it'll make you feel a certain way. So take a deep breath, go inward. How does this thought make you feel emotionally? I would use a one-word emotion: happiness, sadness, grief, joy, excited, something like that. And if you want a complete feelings list, if you're feeling kind of stuck here, I have a free one linked below. Now, this emotion is going to fuel your actions. So when you think this thought and you feel this way, what do you do? What do you not do? And what mental actions do you take? Not only that, but think about the quality of actions that you take. If you come to a practice session and you feel curious, that looks really different than if you feel frustrated or defeated. The quality of work that you do in those actions are going to elicit different results. This is why your actions alone are simply not enough to necessarily get the results that you want, even if you just copy and paste someone else's routine onto your own. Now, fill in your actions. What actions do you take? What things do you avoid? And are there any mental actions that come up? This could be beating yourself up. This could be ruminating on things. This could be kind of a mental spiral of sorts. Any actions that come up mentally for you as well. So, for example, if I feel frustrated and I go into my practice session, I tend to be more self-critical than when I'm curious. I tend to be a little bit more avoidant when it comes to passages I can't play. And I feel a lot of shame. And so I don't want to feel frustrated and shame. So I tend to avoid and then self-sabotage because I just want the mental rumination, beating myself up, to stop or just not be there at all. This is what self-sabotage looks like in the long term. So what do we do instead? We borrow from the future. This is the imagination part. This is the make-believe stuff. The fastest way to achieve your goal is to adopt the mindset of your future self. Imagine it's December 2025 or even January 2026. Put yourself in that headspace, in that mindset, in your body. Even what does your body feel like in that space? Take a few deep breaths and sit in that space. Really embody it. Think about the fact that you've accomplished it 5 minutes ago. Then answer the following questions. Do I believe that it's possible to achieve this goal from this place? What do I believe about myself and my capability? What skills did I develop this year that made this possible? What do I believe about myself? How do I feel? Once again, some of these one-word emotions. Now that I have accomplished my goal, how do I treat myself now that I've accomplished my goal? What habits do I have having accomplished my goal? Now, from the space of you sitting into your future self and embodying it, give yourself some wisdom. Write a letter to your January 2025 self with love, compassion, directions, and whatever other resources you need right now. So, now, tangibly, I want you to think backwards up the model from the result. What is the result that you want? Write it at the top of your page. Then, what are all of the actions that got you there? Write everything down that you could possibly think of. Now, how did you have to feel to take all of that action? Probably pretty determined. Probably willing to feel embarrassed or humiliated, or willing to feel like you're taking a risk, feel insecure, feel all of these emotions. You're probably going to have to feel willing and determined on some level. Now, what thoughts and beliefs do you have to have about yourself to cultivate those feelings, to make those feelings emerge, and really make sure that you work out that thought model so it actually plays out? So what you're going to be practicing are the thoughts and feelings that will drive the aligned actions to get your results. What do you have to believe about yourself in order to achieve this goal? You have to believe it's possible. You have to believe you're capable. And I'm not saying that you have to believe that right now, but you've got to be on your way to believing it. So I wish you the best of luck with your 2025 goals. If you want an in-depth strategy for achieving your goals, you can check out the free workbook I have in the description. And part of that is dealing with overcoming obstacles and anticipating obstacles that might come up. If you're interested in a video on that, you can click this next video here. And if you would like individual help and a community that will help support your 2025 goals, please check out my school community. It is filled with creative people who are on the same page, have done this work too, and are ready to cheer you on. So The link for that is in the description, and I will see you next time.